Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Two Nerds One Cast. This is what, our third episode, fourth episode, third. That's right.
Biggest upload, yeah.
Yeah. So welcome to episode three. Um, we're this episode we have a lot to talk about. We're gonna try and fit it all within an hour. So we're gonna be going through these. But we got Halo season two. Some news about that. Something really funny that happened regarding Fantastic Four in that movie. Deadpool 3's trailer was revealed. Silent Hill 2 remake. Even more news about that. Obviously, like we've already seen the trailer, but even more news regarding it. Jurassic World spinoff losing its director, and a lot more. So let's jump right into it. We'll just go through this. I guess however we want. Where do you want to start?
You're the host, man. I'll let you do it.
You're also the host, though. Or
Nuh-uh.
co-hosts. Uh-huh.
Nuh-uh.
Uh-huh.
Nuh-uh.
Okay, fuck you, I guess. We'll talk
Okay.
about Halo season 2. Just to
All right.
start off as just the first note. Um Apparently it was deemed superior when compared to the first season. Which honestly checks out. That trailer, all that shit looked a lot better than the first season. I remember seeing the first season and being like, ugh. The second season at least looks like competent and looks like kind of what you expect from a Halo series. Uh,
Mm.
and then that actually the composer switched out. So Bear McCreary replaced Sean Callery as the composer for it, and then Optical added the note of Master Chief is still doesn't wear his bloody helmet in this season. So just a random note, but that's something that he wrote down. So you've probably watched Halo season 1, right? Because I'm gonna be
Yeah, I
honest.
watched I watched a few clips of I watched like the first episode and then a few clips after because I just watched the episode and I was like, this is not Halo. This is
Okay,
not
yeah,
Halo.
that's about what I had. Okay, that's about the exposure I had to it. But yeah, I just remember Halo season 1, especially in like the online community, was deemed as like terrible because I think like it didn't follow the games.
No,
Like what's it called?
it kind of took extracts out and then tried to spin it on its head.
Exactly, and I think
They
like
called it the silver timeline.
yeah, and I think like it works for a general audience that isn't familiar with the games because I'm friends with some people
Mm.
that haven't played the games but watch the Halo show and they really like the Halo show. But like the target audience is always going to be generally the player, so I hope they lean more towards that
Mm.
for this season. Because season 1 just really was trashed by the fans because it really wasn't Halo. Um
Mm.
but yeah. And then do you want to talk about this next one because this is fucking hilarious. And like you and I sent messages back to back that were like, "Oh my god, he got him." So you can talk about this one. This one fucking made me laugh.
Yeah, I think I was laughing for like a good like solid 10 minutes over this. So basically what got revealed is that Pedro Pascal is playing Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four, whereby like SAG-AFTRA revealed it, and the director Matt Shackman, so he done WandaVision for Marvel Studios, which I think is a perfect choice because of the story they're going for. Like I think it's a really good choice. But basically they haven't announced it officially yet, like Marvel themselves, and Matt Shankman had basically retweeted SAG-AFTRA saying Pedro Pascal's playing Fantastic Four, and within like the 10 minutes after, he deleted his Instagram.
Yeah. And we were like, dude, Kevin Feige fucking sniped his ass. He got him. Uh
Yeah.
yeah, that was hilarious. I like legitimately our messages were, "Oh shit, Pedro Pascal got announced." I sent that tweet. And then like 5 minutes later you go, he got sniped. And it was just a tweet that his Instagram got deleted. And I'm just like, oh my god. That's fucking great. Um so yeah, that
Oh,
shit
man.
happened. That was very funny actually. I found that
That
like
was good.
oh man. Pedro Pascal though as Reed Richards should be a fun casting. I think that's
I
a solid
like
casting.
it. I
Yeah.
like it. People were hating it, but I think that like with like the whole like age gaps of the cast, I think it works.
Yeah, I think it works. Yeah. Um
Yeah. So, uh-huh.
then this is gonna be a really quick thing. Deadpool 3's trailer got revealed at the Super Bowl. Hold on, my dog wants out of my room, but you can talk about this while I let him out. Later, you want out?
Okay. So the Deadpool 3 trailer got officially titled as
Okay.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
You
And
lied
in
to me.
Deadpool and Wolverine, so the Deadpool 3 trailer was officially revealed as Deadpool and Wolverine. And basically, what happens in the trailer is that obviously Deadpool's in his Fox universe, and then he gets plucked out by the TVA. And basically, he says, I'm going to, like, your whole cinematic universe is about to change. I am Marvel Jesus. Like, that's his actual line. He says that. And, but the funniest line he said, because he broke the first full four, right? So
Okay.
luckily we're in 18 and up cast or like explicit like podcast, right?
Yeah.
And he says, I've been pegged before, but this is the first time for Disney. And he looks directly at the camera, and that's his first full break.
Let's go.
But what's so interesting is that it seems like he's going to be altering some of the events of past Marvel movies, because one of the sets is either Logan, like where where he dies, he gets empowered,
Yeah.
or it's Age of Ultron, because when you look at it,
I thought it
it's
was
got
Age
like
of
the same
Ultron.
thing.
Oh, like Age of
Yeah,
Ultron. Yeah.
I think it was as well. But then there was one thing that people missed at the end. If they look to the right,
Wait. Do you
there's
know what
a
they're going to
comic,
change from Age of Ultron?
probably Quicksilver's death.
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was
100%.
going to say.
100%. But basically at the end on the final bit when he's laying on the ground before he faces off with this version of Logan or Wolverine, there's a comic strip to the left of him, and guess what it is?
Deadpool versus Wolverine.
Nope, issue number 5 of Secret Wars.
Oh, very nice.
And Secret Wars is going to be the next big Avengers film where all the multiverses come together to fight.
Yeah, that's right. That's going to be fun.
That's why I'm like, oh my god.
I'll tell you what, that's going to be good. Also, the fact that Deadpool is now in the MCU is very fun.
And they handled it so cleverly. That's like I will say that's so smart how they handled it. Is getting the TVA to bring him in instead of being like, I'm in the universe,
or just being
it's like
this Deadpool was actually in Marvel somehow. Perfect.
Like they could have easily rebooted it and just started again, which I'm glad they didn't do, because it would have been nightmare to do.
Yeah, so this is better. I'm excited. I am very excited for that movie, I will say. That should be very fun.
You see how sick like the reload thing was, like the camera tracking with the reload.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so good.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good. First R-rated Marvel for Disney.
Let's go. And then they have honestly, now we'll bring that up. They also have another. Wait, no, didn't they have? Wasn't Echo R-rated?
Yeah, but they were very quite restricted on Echo. I think they were quite restrictive on Echo. I would say it's 15 more than R-rated. Honestly, I would say it would be.
It just
15,
might be because of like blood and all that shit that they made it R-rated.
Yeah.
So Deadpool is the real first like R-rated project because of how extreme it's probably gonna go. Just because it's Deadpool. And that kind of leans into another project that's gonna be R-rated by Marvel. Marvel Zombies. It's still set for a 2024 release on Disney Plus. So I'm actually kind of interested. I'm excited for this. It's not gonna follow the comics, which kind of sucks. But honestly, the comics, like the later half of them, got like really weird with them like eating Galactus and getting his powers and all that. Like, so much stupid shit happened there. So, like, I'm excited for it. Honestly, maybe not following the comics might actually be the right move. Regarding that series, I wonder if it's gonna follow the world though that we saw in What If, or if it's gonna be a different universe.
That's what they're doing. I think they're kind of, it's going to be in the same world, but it'll be like a different part of that world. I think like a different city maybe or something. But they have said that it takes place in the same one as What If.
Oh, okay, that's really interesting then. I don't know how they're gonna. Maybe it might take place in the past then though, because it feels like everyone in that series was dead that like you could follow outside of like Peter Parker.
So they've listed who is alive in this series. So they've got Shang-Chi.
Okay.
They've got Miss Marvel or Kamala Khan.
Okay.
They've got obviously they've got Yelena Belova, so like her version of Black Widow. She's alive. And then I believe
is it Peter Parker, because he was alive in the show.
Oh yeah, and probably him as well. But along with a few others, like there's a good set of people involved, and most of them are going to be voiced by the actors on the films. So, aside from Spider-Man, but
yeah, that's just how it is, though.
Yeah,
but that's pretty.
To be fair, the guy who they got did a pretty good imitation. Yeah,
yeah.
Like he actually sounded like him. So I was like, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take that. So that's okay. So that makes sense. So they're basically following the characters that at the time didn't exist in Marvel when they first released that episode. Um, like in that series. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, neat. And then what's it called? You could probably discuss this more, but Silent Hill 2's remake, now confirmed
Hmm.
to be in its final stage by its producer. I'm gonna butcher this, but Motoi Okamoto. I don't think I actually did
Actually, that
that
wasn't
bad.
bad.
Yeah,
I think you. I'm actually impressed with that. I'm actually kind of. So yeah. So obviously the trailer we saw at State of Play was So basically, a lot of people were flaming that trailer because of the combat. Now, first of all, I just want to say I think the combat in that
is
is
improved.
pretty good. But yeah, like the last one, like in the original game, you just was like walking, dodge, hit with a weapon, or shoot your gun. Like
Yeah,
there wasn't much to it. There wasn't any quick time events or like anything to kind of get your blood pumping with the combat. And I think to take inspiration from the Resident Evil remakes as the combat, I think is smart. Obviously,
yeah.
they were calling James Sunderland the new Leon Kennedy, but I was like, no. But that was actually last year's build. And if you go
Oh,
to
okay.
Konami's Twitter, they actually have newer clips where like the animation's massively improved and like the lighting's all good. So I find it strange that it would use last year's build as the
Instead of
trailer
this year's, yeah,
instead of this year's build. But obviously, if that means that the lighting's been improved and the combat's kind of been more streamlined with the animations, then we are okay.
yeah, 100%. That's cool though. I will say,
Mm,
it's very neat. I did not know that.
very neat.
But that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Silent Hill 2's original combat was so bad.
Oh, dude, I've seen gameplay of it. It looks so fucking boring. Okay. Um. So, kind of jumping off that. Not really even connected at all. But oh man, wait, there was more Marvel news that I forgot to talk about. Man, there's a lot of Marvel news actually. We'll get around to it soon.
Yeah, we'll get fine.
This is gonna be really quick. The Untitled Jurassic World spinoff that was basically was that not just posted about on Twitter? Like they posted the fucking image of like the logo for it. It lost
No,
its
and the release date.
director, David Leitch. I really hope you pronounce that right.
Yeah.
Just a few days. Yeah, okay, just a few days after announcing his involvement. Um, so not great. Um, honest to God, I don't know anyone who really likes like the new Jurassic World movies are just like popcorn movies as I like describe them.
Mm.
Like you
I,
go,
I really like the first movie. I really like the first Jurassic World,
okay, that's
but
fair.
then the sequels just got crap.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment. I don't know, dude. Just most of the Jurassic World and older Jurassic Park movies, like the first one was always really good for both series, and then the next two kind of fell off. And it's been the same way for Jurassic World, and I'm just not looking forward to this one. I know it's a spin-off, so it's
Mm.
gonna be like its own thing, but I don't really have high hopes for it in my opinion. And losing your director, not great. That's even worse.
What should be a reboot? What should be a reboot?
Oh god. Don't. Oh no. No.
They
No,
call
no,
Park and
no.
World and just do it again.
No, 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 no. Oh my gosh. That's possible. That is technically possible. I doubt it, but that is technically possible.
Let's do
Um
it.
I really hope they don't. So, building off that though, we have some cool news about the FNAF movie. Well,
Hmm.
the sequel actually. I fucking love that first movie. I'll tell you what. That
I
I
did
mean,
as well.
people will hate it on it. I don't know why people hated it. It was like a good like it wasn't like good horror. I will say it wasn't like scary to me. But it was good like in terms of the story that it was telling
Yeah,
and the world
it was
that it was
fun.
in. It was a fun movie.
It was. Yeah, I describe it as not so much like a hardcore horror, but I'd call it like a gateway horror. So if you've got like younger children who want to get into the horror franchise, I
Oh,
feel
okay,
like
that
that'd be
makes
one of the
sense.
movies that you kind of bring them into to kind of, say like this is what you would expect in a typical
Horror movie. Yeah.
horror.
I mean,
Yeah,
granted more exaggerated like in
yeah.
more horror movies, but like, this is generally what you would find.
But like the soundtrack to that film was so good, and like the opening credits were all like the 8-bit
Yep.
characters,
But
and
like the shitty 8-bit that Scott Cawthon did. Yeah.
yeah, and Josh Hutcherson, I might say that's probably one of my favorite performances of
Oh, he
his.
killed it. He fucking killed
Yeah,
it. No doubt it.
but Matt,
No doubt.
they although I loved it, they underutilized Matthew Lillard so much.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he could have
Like
been used a lot
he was
more.
he was great on screen. Like when he was there, like you felt
Yeah, you
like
felt intimidated.
really unsettled.
Yeah. I mean, even before he was, the fucking bunny suit. Yeah, I can't remember what they call it. Springlock. I don't know what they called him in that movie. It wasn't
Yes,
Spring Trap because he wasn't trapped initially,
Spring
but
Bonnie or something, or like the
I think it
Yellow
was
Rabbit.
yeah, Yellow Rabbit or Spring Bonnie. I think is what it was.
Yeah.
Um, like he was he was very good even before that, and then like his entrance
Mm.
as the fucking Yellow Rabbit was great, very iconic for that type of movie. How he
A
just
little,
like you hear the loud thuds, and
yeah.
then like he comes like creeping under, and he's like, "I'll fucking kill you
Mm.
like I did your brother." It's very good.
I love like the ghost face knifing that he'd done, like it's a little nod to the original screen where he did like
Yeah,
the
he does a
cleanser
knife
knife like
swipe.
that.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was very good, very iconic. Love it. I actually have a knife, so I could show what a knife swipe looks like.
Oh no. Oh no.
I this is the dull end, but basically, he goes. I'm not doing it on the sharp end because I don't want to cut myself. But imagine like this is going across the entire blade. Also, very cool knife. It is actually sharp. Um,
I
got
just
it
want to know why
at a
you got a
Renaissance
knife
fair.
there. I just don't know why you got a knife there out of all places.
I just like to have one in my room.
Fair enough.
It's
Fair
better.
enough.
It's like self protection. Someone breaks in, no one's gonna break into my house. But if someone breaks in, I have a long ass knife. They aren't gonna be
Fair.
expecting that. I'll tell you what. So yeah, that would be the situation why I have that. So there you go. Also, it just
Fair
looks
enough.
really cool, and I have like my nephew occasionally visits, so I don't want it out in the open. You can't see where it is, but it's tucked behind a bunch of shit. But the handle is just barely poking out, like the end of it, so I can grab it.
I genuinely thought he was going to say, "Oh, my nephew comes over and I'll let him like play with the knife." I'm like, I
No,
genuinely thought he was going to say
no, I'm
that.
not insane. No,
I let him have a go
I'm
at the
not
knife.
that. I'm not that. No, I'm not stupid. But yeah, my nephew comes over. He's like somewhat tall, so I don't want him to be able to reach it. So or know that's there. So I really try hiding it with only the back end of the handle poking out.
Oh God.
I don't know how we got into a discussion about my knife. But somehow we did. But yeah, no, the knife swipe very good. Love it.
Mm.
Very iconic. I love that tie bag. Like the reference, very good reference. And yeah, that story was very solid. So I'm actually really excited to see what they do in the sequel because obviously it seems like the story is taking a different path compared to like the games.
I honestly think the puppet is going to be Garrett in the second film. I think the puppet's going to be, the brother that went
Yeah,
missing.
would be the marionette. Yeah, I mean that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. I could
I
see
mean,
that being the case.
after all, they've said it's not like a one-to-one adaptation. Like they're basically
Yeah,
spinning some bits on its
they
head.
made like Vanessa not like an evil bitch, like she
Honestly,
is.
I'm one of the few that actually likes the twist of her being William Afton's daughter.
I'm fine with it.
I thought that actually works.
Yeah, no, I thought it worked
Like,
well.
it's my father.
He's my father.
Some, honestly.
That's my dad. Oh man, very good movie. Very good movie. I could rewatch that sometime. I gotta,
Honestly,
dude. I need some buddies because I want to do a drink and watch for like really fun like horror movies, and I just need to do that with some people. But most of my friends are out of state in college or have busy fucking schedules. Like their
oh,
schedules
God.
have work now, and I still don't have work in my life. So like scheduling that is like a pain in the ass because I'm free basically all the time. They're barely ever free. I'm just like fuck.
Oh,
uh,
God.
but yeah, so let's keep going. Let's keep going in this news. 20th Century Fox has man, I feel like on my end, I know on Discord I'm higher up in the camera because the camera like is wider, but on the fucking screen you can't see it, but it's like slightly smaller on my end and like Streamlabs. So like I look short as fuck like this. Okay. So they rehired Dan Trachtenberg?
Yeah, that's it.
Trachtenberg
You nailed it.
to
Nailed
develop
it.
two spin-offs in the Predator universe, including a sequel to Prey and another currently titled Badlands. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Badlands one is set in the future, right?
Yeah, female protagonist again in the future.
I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, he nailed Prey. Like, he killed it.
Yeah, I mean, he fucking nailed that movie. That was a great movie. Mater, do you want out again? Because you gotta be more clear, buddy. Last time you baited me out. You can't see him, but he's staring at me. Okay.
Maybe he just wants to host a cast with you. You know,
Buddy, you want to come over here? You want to
two
come
nerds,
host?
one cast, and a dog.
He's just looking at me like, fuck you. Oh, wait, here he comes, Han. Mater.
There he
Yeah,
is.
lift your head up. There he is. Oh, there he goes. Oh, there. Yeah, you can see his eyes.
One dog, two nerds, and one cast.
Let's go. Mater Cam. Okay. So he does one out. Let me just be free, buddy. This is how things go. We love Silly Dog. Silly Dog Mater. So sequel to Prey, another one called The Badlands. Prey took place in the past, right? I'm not mistaking that.
Like really
Like
far in
Stone
the past,
Age,
like
yeah, right, like near
yeah.
that age. Okay, that's what I remember. But I couldn't remember now since they're doing like a far future one where it looks post-apocalyptic. I couldn't remember if Prey took place in a post-apocalyptic world. So I just wanted to double check. But yeah, so I'm really excited for the Prey one. Honestly, don't know how that's gonna be. That's gonna be fun though. I know it's gonna be good. I just don't know like how it's gonna go like story beat wise. And then another called Badlands. Kind of excited to see what they do in a post-apocalyptic future. Because I think they could do some very cool shit in that.
Like I'm glad they've kind of got to this formula where like instead of just having to make a sequel after sequel and remake after remake, just drop the Predator in different time ages and just
in
like
different places,
make it the rawest film ever.
Yeah, and I'm actually really excited because like in the future one, I wonder if like the humans, although it does look like from like that one teaser image that was shown that like the world is fucking destroyed, and also the name Badlands, but I kind of wonder if they're gonna have like futuristic technology that actually kind of allows them to emulate what the Predator can do, in a sense. If you understand what I'm saying, where it's like they're using maybe like the Predator uses like that heat vision or whatever the fuck, sometimes to like be able to see his prey. I wonder if they're gonna do stuff like that. And like the the camouflage. Like I wonder like if humans are gonna be more advanced to where they kind of is more of a fair fight in that aspect. So I think that could be a really interesting element.
I agree.
So yeah, I think that's a big possibility. I'm excited for both of those though. I will be watching. We'll be sat down immediately for that.
We will be seated.
Okay. Evil Dead. I didn't know this. Evil Dead is getting a spin-off set. Oh, this is right. I remember seeing your tweet about this. By director Sebastian Vanecek and produced by Sam Raimi. You want to talk about your thoughts on it? Because I remember you put out a tweet. That was very fun.
So, yeah. So obviously, I didn't know. Did you watch Evil Dead Rise?
I sadly didn't. I meant to, and then I just got busy.
It's great film. Great film. And that was kind of like a sequel / kind of self-contained thing. It was kind of like its own little story. But this guy, he said that like he's going to go to the same tone of like the 2013 Evil Dead. So like the one that was like barely comedy, like really terrifying. And so he says he wants to do that, but like 10 times worse.
Oh God.
So the idea of like a full-on scary Evil Dead sounds fun. Going like Evil Dead going full horror. But I put out a tweet basically saying, is this gonna be in like the French catacombs, like the catacombs?
Yeah, you were
of
like
Paris?
the fucking evil guy's gonna come from the catacombs, isn't he?
Yeah. The Necronomicon.
So yeah, it was like they're gonna find them in Necronomicon and the catacombs, aren't they?
It's just I just kind of could see this is where it's gonna go, isn't it? Like, I wonder if they call it evil bread, maybe evil bread.
Oh, I get it. Oh my God, that took me a second to understand. Okay, that checks out. Nice.
Evil bread.
I was like, what the fuck is bro on about? And then I was like, oh, France bread. Okay, that checks out.
I probably just offended a few French people. I apologize in advance.
Yeah. So, wow. Okay, fantastic.
It sounds fun.
It does sound pretty fun. I actually am excited for it. But you are 100% right. They're going to find that Necronomicon in the fucking catacombs. I have no doubt in my mind of it. And now we're getting back into some Marvel news. So, according to actor Joe Manganiello, Sam Raimi will be directing Avengers Secret Wars for Marvel Studios. I personally really like that casting. I don't know about you. I personally find not like casting, directorial role. I really find that
I love it.
choice really good. Yeah. I mean, what's it called?
It's
Sorry.
like no, I'm saying it sounds fun. Like I was agreeing with you saying like it sounds generally
Yeah, it sounds like
like
a
it'd be
great
good.
time. It seems like a great watch. And seems like it's gonna be very fun. Um, I mean, obviously his Spider-Man films iconic. Even Spider-Man 3 is like famous for like whether you love it or hate it, it's a funny movie. And you can
Yeah.
definitely tell it's a Raimi movie. Um, and then obviously Multiverse of Madness, honestly, pretty solid. Especially when you could like see when Raimi had like his directorial flair on it. With things like such as the transitions. Just I kind of like those, and I really hope Marvel lets him kind of just do what he wants to do with it. In terms of how it's going to be shot and all that, because I know Marvel has like a kind of issue where it's like, oh, they kind of are a little bit overbearing with some of these movies.
Mm.
So I really hope, like they override a lot of creative decisions, to like keep it more streamlined. I really hope they let Raimi make a Raimi movie that is set in Marvel's universe instead
Yeah.
of a Marvel movie, like a standard Marvel movie with Raimi's name attached to it.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it because obviously Kevin Feige and Sam Raimi are very good friends.
Yeah,
Like they are solid, and that was because obviously Kevin Feige worked with Sam Raimi on the Spider-Man films.
yeah,
So like, but I think Sam like that's the thing. Although the script of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness wasn't that great, the direction, like the soundtrack, basically really helped. And obviously Elizabeth Olsen was so good as Scarlet
yeah.
Witch in
She
that
nailed
film.
it.
Like she was great. So I think that honestly, like, and I've always wanted to see what an Avengers film by Sam Raimi would look like.
Yeah,
Like if he could like do like a whole bunch of heroes, like I don't know. There's something about Sam Raimi that I think is just like fun.
yeah. No, I mean he just has a great style, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
I agree.
it's a very fun style. You can tell it's Raimi. Um,
Mm.
all of his movies you would watch and go, yeah, it's a Sam Raimi movie. Um, and I love that.
I just wonder what an Avengers or like Marvel movie would look like if it was done by Wes Anderson.
Oh my god, would be so goofy. Holy shit. I love how those Wes Anderson movies always have like the goofy visuals, but like they're
Yeah.
pretty. They're honestly a good chunk of them are pretty serious.
Mm.
Like in the terms of the story, that would be really funny. Uh, with like seeing him direct a very serious Marvel movie, but have like the stupidest like looks. Oh, I'd love it. Oh, you just know he'd break out like the iconic like oh my god, I can't costumes for some of them. Because of how like colorful they are, and he'd be like, "Yes, we're using those, but the story's gonna be fucked up." I love that shit though. What's
I'd
it called?
watch it.
I would watch it a lot. Yeah, I'd watch that movie. And then keeping the good times rolling with Marvel. John Bernthal is rumored to reprise his role as Frank Castle slash the Punisher, same character, in Daredevil Born Again. I remember, wasn't it said that like there was a point where he didn't want to be on like in Marvel, like he didn't like the direction, but after the rewrites he came back.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think that's that shows that the rewrites are really good because apparently Marvel kept reaching out to him according to him, like at a panel. I can't remember what happened, but it was like at a panel where people were asking him questions. Apparently, Marvel kept reaching out to him, and he kept shooting them down because he didn't like the stories that he was getting, like to work with. But with these Daredevil Born Again rewrites, he really liked them. Originally, he signed on, then decided he didn't like it, and then with the rewrites, he came back. Um, so he should be playing the Punisher in Daredevil Born Again, which is really interesting. I really liked his Punisher. Obviously, there's that
Mm.
one meme of the no 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 wait iconic. I hope we see stupid shit
Good.
like that, but I
Oh,
love that shit so much.
speaking of Born Again, you know how we were laughing about how they'd bring back Karen and Foggy to kill him off?
Yeah,
There was some photos of Foggy lying on the ground and Karen covered in blood.
let's go. We were right. Let's go.
So either Marvel's trolling like the leakers, or they're generally going to kill them both off.
I think that you can kill both of them if you do it in the right way. I don't think you should,
Mm.
regardless. I think they're still like early on characters. I think like you want to have more impact, have them get built up still more. But I think you could do it.
Make it
But
like
I'm not a
Arkham
big
Batman, the
fan.
gun to the head. Just the Arkham Batman gun to the head, say nothing done.
Are we done yet? Bang.
It's literally what. I hope it's
Um,
not the case.
yeah, dude. Okay. But I'm looking forward to it. Apparently the rewrites are good enough to get Bernthal back. So I don't know. He personally didn't find anything too egregious, I guess. So if they do kill them off, maybe it's in a good way. Who knows?
Maybe like the death of Karen causes, or like Karen or Foggy causes the Punisher to come in. Because obviously, don't forget in the previous Daredevil series, the Punisher was very much in love with Karen.
Oh, you're
Like
right. That could actually be why
a way to
Punisher
bring
would
him
pull
in.
up. Yeah. That'd be fun. I mean,
Uh,
it would be fun to see why the Punisher comes in. That would make sense.
mm, yeah.
But yeah, so that's what's happening there. And now getting into some gaming news because these final three topics are
Yeah.
wow, we're already on our final three topics. We've only been recording for 30 minutes. Wow, that's shocking. Okay.
Wait,
Um,
how long were we talking for?
we've only been talking for about 31 minutes.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I know we made
Right.
this episode fucking quick.
We better
Um,
babble on then. We better just start making some like blabber about it. Just ad lib everything.
yeah, right. So Microsoft possibly turning away from becoming a first party publisher, which I would assume means like they only like first party means they only produce in house. Um, so what that means to me personally, that tells me to expect them to kind of work more on like how like Sega went from this big like what's it called fucking company for games for only
Hmm.
their platform to kind of being like everywhere on all platforms. Obviously,
Yeah.
Microsoft is still going to make the Xbox. I would assume, because they're going to
Yeah.
be talking about it.
They've confirmed that. They've
Yeah.
confirmed that. That
Okay.
there's some big X.
Yeah. So they're not going completely the way of Sega, but the way I read that is they're going to be making games like maybe potentially. I think Halo might still be a first-party franchise, but you could see other franchises that were strictly Xbox exclusives, maybe like Forza, into like a third-party game where like it becomes
Yeah.
games on like fucking the Switch, which I don't think could handle Forza, but like let's just say the Switch, the PS5, whatever. That's kind of what I imagine they mean when they say they're turning away from becoming a first party publisher. Like they're
Yeah.
publishing
So
games for other consoles now.
yeah. So obviously it's not confirmed, right? But there's a few things to kind of push towards the idea of it happening, right? So one of them one of the people said that I think it was one of the people that's working on Halo and things like that. But they said that like we'll be working across console platforms and like the cloud and things like that, right?
Yeah.
And do you know what? I would be okay if Halo went multi-platform, like not just Xbox and PC,
That's
because I
fair.
think that we've had it for a long time. We've had the franchise for a long time, and I don't think there's anything wrong with giving that to other platforms. They for them to because Halo's like, it's had a few ups and downs, right? But overall, it's a strong franchise that
Yeah.
Microsoft has. So I'd be okay, but apparently there are some ones to expect, and it's going to be like Hi-Fi Rush. That's going to apparently go to PlayStation,
Okay.
which again, cool. Then I think it's called Pentiment. I think it's called Pentiment. That was one of the ones that they had on like they surprise dropped on Xbox
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I
during
haven't
one of
heard of
their.
this. Okay.
And then there's some not confirmed yet but there's some rumors going around that they're potentially looking at Starfield as well to take to PS5.
Oh, I can see that.
Which that one I find really interesting. But the thing is, people are freaking out, right? But I think Xbox isn't. If they're going to continue to make consoles, right? I think that I've always hated the idea of console exclusivity because I make the argument it hurts developers more than like anything because you're cutting out a chunk
You're cutting
of a
out
player
like
base.
at least 33%, like 50% of the player
Yeah,
base. Yeah.
exactly that. So I always think that it should never really be a thing. And I think if this is what they're doing, then I think that actually it's a smart move for Microsoft because what they're saying is it's a middle finger to Sony, first of all. And again, I'm not saying that like an Xbox fanboy. I'm not trying to start console wars. I want to make this clear, right? You use your plastic box however you want. I don't care. use your plastic box. I've got an Xbox too, but I also have a PC, and I've tried PlayStation. I like them all.
I have an
Right?
Xbox, PC, and a PS5. I have all three. I'm a collector.
Oh Jesus, poor shame me. Poor shame me
I
now.
will. I will
Um,
be a hater forever and always.
so, so like I always think that there shouldn't be games exclusive to consoles. I think if anything, consoles should be sold by what they provide, right? But not just games. Like be like what specifications it has, how it runs, and things like that. What sets it apart from other ones. I
Yeah.
think that exclusives, if anything, just cause more divides than what it does to bring people together, because
That's
they're like, oh
fair.
well, we got this, we got this, we got that. Oh, and I mean, look, when you think about it, right? PlayStation, Xbox, and PlayStation really don't have that many games. PlayStation gets constant remasters, remakes, and a few sequels every now and again.
Yeah.
But with Xbox, I will say they are a lot more sequel focused, right? That like they like to make sequels rather than just remake and remaster a game on top of each other. They'll do
Yeah.
a few casual ones every now and again, but like and they do new IPs. Like for example, new Indiana Jones game looks great.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
it
excited for
looks
that.
good.
Yeah.
And Hellblade two Senua's Saga, or like no, sorry, no, Senua, is it Senua's Sacrifice? What's the one or the
I
second one? But
don't know.
again, that looks great. And I played the first Hellblade. It's really good, and it still has aged quite well for like the console it was on. So
Awesome.
I don't people. I think people are freaking out way too much about saying like this is the end of Microsoft. Microsoft's going to die. I actually
Xbox. Yeah.
think that
All
this.
that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to say that. I mean, I was concerned at first when I first read the news because I thought someone was saying that Xbox is straying away from consoles or they're going to change the Xbox brand. I thought let me just
I
wait a
think they
couple
could
days.
still potentially change some things up regarding that, but
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
like I
To be
think as long
fair,
as
they have acknowledged. Sorry, to cut you off.
no, it's okay. No, don't worry, it's okay. Like I was just gonna say that I think people are it's good to give it a couple of days because after a few days they've said that Xbox isn't going anywhere. And we'll just let you know on this podcast this week. And so we got this Thursday. They're going to address all the changes they're doing to Xbox and its games.
Cool. Yeah, I think. No, I will say Xbox has acknowledged they lost the quote unquote like console wars
Yeah,
last gen. Um
yeah,
because PS4 just did way more than Xbox did in that
mm,
generation where the consumer really shifted over to PlayStation and it's kind of just stayed there.
yeah,
So it wouldn't surprise me for Microsoft to be like, okay, well, hold on, there's a like piece of like fucking dust that was floating around that I got.
mm,
But like, it wouldn't surprise me to see like Xbox kind of take a little bit of a step back maybe regarding consoles in the future and more focus on becoming like a third party publisher and making their money that way because a PlayStation has such a lead in terms of
yeah.
consoles and all that shit. And then like I know you're not a big fan of exclusivity, but that is also why people are picking PlayStation so heavily over
Yeah,
Xbox because they have
I agree.
Spider-Man, they have God of War, they have The Last of Us if people still care about that. They have a bunch of other games that are still coming out, right? You have Ghost of Tsushima. All those
Mm,
games, PS5 or PlayStation exclusives. So I think Xbox has kind of acknowledged that the console race is done. Like, it's really a
mm,
battle between PlayStation and Nintendo for that top spot. They're gonna be consistently in like the middle to bottom part because Nintendo appeals to the family audience and it's
yeah,
cheaper. PlayStation 5 is just more consumer friendly in the sense of they have so much more to offer in that sense. Xbox is just like, well, we might as well put our games on those platforms so we still make money from them.
yeah. Which I think, from a business standpoint, is smart.
It's very
Like,
smart.
but like one of the things that like I always find so strange, right, is Xbox games go to PC and so do PlayStation games go to PC. So I don't see why they can't put it.
Go on
You
Xbox
know,
or PS5,
yeah,
vice versa. Yeah.
I don't see why. Because if it's going to PC, then it's not really exclusive anymore, is it? It's
Yeah.
like I don't ever get
I
that.
don't get
But
it.
they,
Who knows,
I'm
man?
not. I'm not a businessman. I'm not a businessman, so I don't work in the gaming industry.
Yeah. No, I get that 100%. But yeah, that's gonna be something that's gonna be interesting. I want to see what they talk about on Thursday. See what the
Mm,
news is. Exactly regarding that. But yeah, it should be fun. And then we have some other news. Sledgehammer Games. I remember hearing about this actually from a FaZe Jeff video. Um, but Sledgehammer Games. They were planning to develop COD 2025. They basically told Activision to go fuck themselves. Because they've done so much they've basically been a support studio, and they don't want to be a support studio. They want to be
Mm.
their own studio, and like make their own games instead of being like the people that like they had to take over Vanguard, and then like Vanguard wasn't that great. It was fun, but wasn't that great. But that was on a limited time constraint. They didn't have the full
Yeah.
3 years, and then they worked on MW2 and MW3 multiplayer, and then Activision was like, "Hey, we need you to make COD for next year," and they said, "Go fuck yourself. We do not have time to do that." So instead, they're doing 2027. Um, so that gives them a full 3 year time development window, which is what you're meant to have. According, like
Mm.
Call of Duty meant to be 3 years. It alternates every year. Sledgehammer got
Yeah.
relegated to a support studio, so they weren't really having that 3 year window. But now they do. So I'm actually excited to see what they do. Obviously,
Yeah.
they made Advanced Warfare back in the day. That was a very good game.
Love that game. Loved
Um,
Advanced Warfare. I always defend it. I will always defend that game.
yeah, it was a very fun game. I think its jetpack mechanics were very innovative. For the first time we saw jetpacks, I think they were great. Honestly, I prefer those jetpack mechanics over Black Ops 3. I was never a Black Ops 3 fan personally. I know a lot of people who were. Never hit it right for me. So sorry, not sorry. That's just how it is. But yeah, so they're expected to do 2027, which means High Moon Studios and also technically Treyarch, because I want to say High Moon is a part of Treyarch, are rumored to be working on COD 2025 instead. So it's expected to be almost back-to-back Treyarch games. With the 2025 release set to be like a direct sequel to Black Ops 2. Which honestly, I don't know how you do that, like though, in such a tight time constraint, because you're going from COD 2024 of the Gulf War, which we're going to talk about, into COD 2025, which is a completely different time period, and they aren't planning on reusing any assets, if I remember correctly. So that's going to be really difficult.
Yeah. So with that, so first of all, I need to give a high five to Sledgehammer Games for finally standing their ground as a studio.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty impressive to say F you to Activision.
Yeah.
It's very bold. But like here's the thing. If I recall correctly, they had like 12 months to make MW3, and I have to say it right. The multiplayer of that game is freaking great in MW3.
Yeah, it's some of the most fun I've had in a few years playing COD.
And they had 60 months to make Vanguard. And bear in mind, with Vanguard, it still was in practically a pandemic.
Yeah.
So again, but at the same time, Cold War was made in like 8 to 9 months, and Cold War was freaking great. But I think it's because Cold War, I think people recognize Treyarch games for their much more like simpler movement. Like they don't go too mad with all like the slide cancelling and the diving and things like that.
Yeah.
Right. And
they keep it basic. Treyarch reminds me of a studio that still does old COD right, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right? Like they still run that old formula.
Yeah. And obviously worst zombies mode we ever had in Vanguard. Worst zombies mode ever made. I will honestly say that. But that was again, devs were overworked, time crunches, and a lot of studio interference. So I think, Vanguard was just, as much as they wouldn't accept it at the time, it was just COD World War II and slam them together with MW19. Like it was literally just combined together.
Yeah.
Because if the movement was pretty much the same for those two games of MW19 and Vanguard, it was pretty much the same movement. Same gunplay and the same like mechanics. It was all the same, but they just did a few extra fancy things with the gunsmith and then smacked on a World War II palette.
Yeah. It allowed them to actually get the game out faster.
Yeah, exactly that. But I think with this one, obviously, Call of Duty now is moving on to a unified engine. This is like the IW9, IW10, and obviously with Treyarch games, they only ever use the IW3, but they graphically updated it every single time. So it's the same engine, like they've never changed it, mechanics, things like that. But the thing is, what's interesting is obviously Black Ops 4 used the Black Ops 3 engine, right?
Yeah.
And in Black Ops 3, but Cold War used Black Ops 3's engine instead of Black Ops 4's version.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
I think allowed that movement to be more fluid.
Yeah, and not even that, but I think also because that had like all that stuff for zombies, all like the perk drinks again, because obviously that was all like the Juggernog things, and obviously in Black Ops 4
they didn't have those. They revamped perks. Yeah.
Still don't know why they done that. I thought that was one of the dumbest decisions ever made in for changing the zombies formula
Yeah.
because people don't like it, but I would argue like the perk jingles also add personality to zombies, and when you take that away, it kind of feels generic.
Yeah.
You know, you go up as your drink done, and it's sort of
All done. Yep. Finished. You're done. You're done, buddy. You're done.
you're dead.
But yeah,
Now
so
Gulf War.
I'm excited for Gulf War, dude. I know
yeah.
it's gonna
4
be
years.
see, I know they plan to have Adler return, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken, which is gonna be really interesting. I wonder how that's gonna go. I wonder how he'll be presented as a character. But yes, obviously he killed the main character at the end of Cold War. Um like, you know, they like both whip out their guns and it like slows down and just
Yeah.
great. Unexpected. Very good. Um but I actually kinda wonder if he's gonna be viewed as like as still a good guy, or they're gonna be like he overstepped the line. Who
Yeah,
knows?
no, that's
Who knows? He could actually be a bad guy. I assume he's gonna be a good guy because in like, you know, Cold War's multiplayer technically fed into the story. Like, you know, all the teasers and all that shit and trailers. And Adler was still part of the CIA and all that, which takes place after the campaign with Stitch. So I imagine he's gonna be good, but who knows? I also remember he got his ass beat by Stitch, so who knows? Uh, maybe he'll be a vegetable. But regardless, we'll see. I'm very excited for it though. That's why I do
yeah.
know.
I'm excited as well. So obviously, it is expected for October release this time instead of November with Cold War. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But obviously, on the topic, you was obviously talking about how it's going to be its own like map thing. So basically, it's going back to that open world things like the open combat missions. I guess they might still call it, or they might even just call it normal campaign again. It's going to have some linear missions, but what's cool about this one is it's not ripped from Warzone. It's not ripped from like
MW3 was.
It's like it's entirely own dedicated map with like fast travel, and I think actually that could be fun if you take a Far Cry approach to a Call of Duty campaign.
Could be very fun. Yeah, could be very fun.
I think and I think it opens the door for even cooperative play if you're playing on a large scale map. You know, like I think it opens the door for like online co-op and things like that.
God, I miss online co-op for campaigns.
Oh yeah, I miss it so much. But what's exciting to me is this one's going to launch with 2 round-based maps this time.
Nice.
Or it could be even more.
These shitty fucking MW zombies maps. Actual round based.
Yeah, like
love it.
Still pissed over the fact that MW's getting no more content, but you know, but MW zombies, sorry to be exact. Yeah. But I think, you know, there's 2 maps that we know are going to happen. One of them is set to be Terminus Island, because obviously that's where Jack Fletcher was working in the 90s, and obviously that fits in well with Peck going to visit an island to get all the missiles and things like that.
Yeah.
So that works. But the other one is apparently set on a ship.
Oh shit! Like probably, I assume it's gonna be like a cargo ship or something. Maybe a battleship. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, so that could, you know, that could be fun. But obviously, Treyarch has now been moved back to their title. So who's not to say we could get even more round-based maps on launch?
I'm looking forward to it.
How sick would it be if they drop like 3 or 4 round-based maps on launch? So you have like 2 normal-sized round-based maps and like 2 smaller scout survival maps.
Will bust everywhere. Clean up aisle my pants.
I there's so many perks I want to see them bring back. Like I want them to do Electric Cherry again, but
bring
kind of do like a little change.
Not Deadshot Daiquiri. I almost said this.
Double tap.
Double tap. Right? Yeah, they could have back again. What's it called? Fucking Widow's 1.
Yeah, that was supposed to come to MW Zombies. That's the thing. Like MW Zombies and Mule Kick. So when you bought the collector's edition from Walmart, there were two perk icons. That was Widow's Wine and Mule Kick. And
so
then
where are they?
They scrapped it. So I guess maybe they're using that to now port forward to Gulf War. But something that I want to know about Gulf War, right? So COD's using the unified engine now.
Yeah.
Right? Are they going to do the carry forward for that one? Where like they're bringing all the MW guns and all the skins you bought and port it forward into Gulf War?
Because it won't work timeline-wise. I mean, maybe... Yeah. I hope not.
I mean, hey, they did drop in freaking... who was the bad guy in Black Ops 2 again?
Oh, no.
They dropped him in Vanguard, didn't they?
No, that was Black Ops 1. Wait, was it was it Menendez?
Yeah. Yeah, and they dropped freaking Raul Menendez in Vanguard, but yet Raul Menendez was more like a bit more forward than that.
Dude, look at me knowing my shit.
Yeah, so Raul Menendez. And like, I thought, narratively, that doesn't make sense. And part of me just thinks Vanguard isn't canon, just because of how much random stuff happened in the plot.
Yeah.
Like, you had freaking Black Ops 3 operators like come in. Remember, you had Seraph, I think was the one like the 54
Yeah.
Immortals. So
Um,
they threw her in,
who
and then they
knows?
threw Roman Enders. I'm like, how do they fit in narratively?
I don't think they
Like they
do.
had
I think the
they
campaign
had
is the only thing that's canon there.
they had Snoop Dogg as well. Snoop Dogg, and his birth date was set far after World War II, and that was still in the bio.
Let's
Like,
go.
it's like what?
No, it was
Part of me just
Snoop Dogg Senior.
season 5 was a freaking fever dream of that
But
game.
yeah,
Jesus
no, I
Christ.
think I think obviously the campaign might still be canon, but who knows? Honestly, COD's weird. The COD timeline gets
Yeah.
weird. Apparently, zombies is canon in the main timeline to some extent, which is weird. I don't get how that works, but a lot of weird shit regarding COD. Um,
I think I know why zombies is canon because obviously remember in Black Ops 4 they reset like the
yeah, the
multiverse.
timeline, yeah,
Yeah. So obviously then they kind of streamlined it into one universe.
yeah. It's just so weird that like zombies is canon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Um,
weird.
but yeah, so that will technically mean that like this was a very good episode. I'm trying to think
Oh
if
yeah,
we have
absolutely.
anything else to talk about. I mean, I'm excited for Gulf War. I really am. I wanna be able to play that soon. It's set for October. Like
Mm.
most COD releases. Um, so I'm excited for that. I cannot wait to fucking get my hands on it and just go off, especially in the zombies. I fucking have missed round-based zombies. I re-downloaded, just punched my mic on accident. I re-downloaded Cold War, to play the zombies there because the Black Ops Cold War zombies is phenomenal. I cannot wait to see what they do in Gulf War with the full 3-year development time. Gonna be very good. Um,
You know
who
what I really
knows
hope? Do you know what I really hope for Gulf War
what?
Zombies? They allow custom maps again.
Oh baby, if that happens, it's gonna launch on Steam, right? So and like Battle.net
Yeah,
is Steam too. So I would imagine like the Steam Workshop might be available. Who knows though?
like
I fucking
that
hope
would be
so.
that would be so good. Like to have be able to do custom maps on the newer engine.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, I don't want to
because
have to keep playing Black Ops 3 to do customs.
yeah, I mean don't get me wrong. Like, the engine is great for Black Ops 3 for custom maps, but still, it's fairly outdated.
Yeah, it's an outdated game, and I don't want to have to keep going back to it every time I want to do a
And
custom map.
full of
So
hackers and cheaters as well. So
yeah, so hopefully Gulf War has that. But yeah, I'm excited
mm.
for it. And yeah, with that being said, that pretty much wraps up this episode. So,
one quick one.
oh,
One quick one. You forgot to review Short Message.
oh God. Okay, let me do a very quick synopsis here. Short message. Very good game. Very sad game though. So, it deals with the topics of self-death because we got to be careful on YouTube to not say certain words on the topic of self-death. And like the character's friend basically committed unalive. And we learn like within the first like 20 minutes of the game, the main character is actually honestly responsible for it. Because like she didn't let that letter that girl wrote to her best friend get there. And also apparently it alluded to her basically bullying her. Because they were just like, oh, like like, oh, I didn't think she would actually do it. Is kind of
Mm.
what the character
Yeah.
says.
She felt
Which
ignored in the friendship.
yeah, because
Felt.
she felt the
Yeah.
friendship. The girl that committed unalive that she was friends with, she was friends with another girl. That the main like they were mutual friends, right? The main character liked
Mm.
the other person, so she felt the girl that died was kind of taking her away from her. So she, as far as we can tell, at the very least, didn't let the letter of the girl seeking out help get to that friend. And at worst, we see the character potentially have actually bullied the person into doing that. That part isn't explicitly stated, but it's implied, which is why I mention it.
Mm.
But it's a very sad story. And by the end of it though, the character, I wouldn't say learns to forgive herself because I don't think she's like I don't
Ever
think
gonna
she
do that?
forgives herself. But like she goes back to the girl's house after being chased down by the monster version of the girl. and like finds a drawing of her, like that was very positive and all that shit, and she realized like how much she meant to that girl, and probably why like her words affected that girl so heavily, which is very sad, and the whole story is extremely sad. Let me be very clear. I might be underselling it. The whole story is extremely sad. I don't want to get too much into major spoilers. But I'm just giving a very rough synopsis here. And it's very like, oh shit, this character really fucked up. But at the same time, like her friend, that they're mutuals with, that the girl thought was taking, the other girl was taking away attention from, um, was there to help this person. And then at the end we see the drawings of both their friend and her merged into like a heart thing. And it was very cute, very wholesome. Very sad story, but very very sweet ending
Mm.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
I remember Optical. We streamed it together. You can actually watch the VOD because I reposted it as a full video on this channel. And it was very sad. Optical almost cried a few times. I got a little bit sad throughout it as well. But it was a very good story.
Yeah.
It dealt with bullying and like self-harm obviously and all that shit. So it took very real like things, but found a good way to tell them in that
Like,
universe, and it was just
yeah.
very touching.
It told it like with like very much a lot of respect. Like it didn't try and like glorify it. It treated it very sensitively.
Yeah, it treated it serious,
Um.
and like the every time you would like pause, it would be like the if like you're dealing with like
Yeah.
the want to self die, like call this number, or like if you know someone else who's struggling, call this number, and like
Yeah.
very very good game, a very good game, very good story.
Music was great. Music was
Music
freaking
was
great.
great, graphics were great. Like it wasn't that like brutal. We got through it much faster than expected. The game is meant to take 2 hours. We got through it within an hour, basically.
Be fine.
Mainly that's because we just kept figuring shit out pretty quickly. Two people playing it at once, I think, allows people to like have better understanding of it, because at least one person is gonna remember like where something was placed. Um, but yeah, so very good game, and I had a fantastic time. So
Yeah.
I hope you guys had a good time watching this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you guys did, hit the like button, subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, love you to death. Hit the follow button. And yeah, new episodes come out every week. Sorry about this one being a little bit later than expected. We were meant to record on, what was it, Friday or Saturday? Friday. But my dumbass slept right through it. I almost slept through this one. So we got it done though. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys had a great time. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Or maybe next stream. But yeah, peace out everybody.
Is that
Bye.